doubt seen a fair share of videos about this already, but I finally got the chance to do some sim racing the past couple of nights and have a go at iRacing's new wet weather, and it's very, very fun. Maybe it's the fact that I haven't done a lot of iRacing in a while, but I think it's really this wet weather. It feels like it's changed everything about the sim and has made it super entertaining from race to race. And I'd love to race something like the Lotus 49 in the wet, but it's not possible yet. So the car I've chosen to race is the Ray F1600, the Formula Ford car. Really cool, really old school type formula car. It's a formula that hasn't changed much since the 1970s. And in my opinion, it's the perfect kind of car to experience wet weather with. You don't have any downforce, it's just you and 4 road tires and a really light formula car on some of the trickiest conditions that you could imagine. I've done a handful of these races this week, and I thought earlier tonight I had seen the wettest conditions possible, but I think this one actually takes the cake for that, so I'm happy I got it on camera. It's not a perfect race. It's very indicative of these types of conditions and how tricky this is, but man, it's so much fun and thought it'd be fun to share. So sit back and enjoy a wild slip and slidey 20 minutes at Sebring in the Formula Ford. I don't think this is the last you'll be seeing from me in something like this. All right, if qualifying is any indication, this is going to be a real slick time. Looks like the rain might slow down a little. I don't think the race is going to be long enough for the rain to actually slow down. Looking at the weather forecast there, but 20-minute race, so it should be maybe 8 or 9 laps in total. And I'm starting in second. Somehow I qualified on the front row. I think a lot of folks had difficulty just making it around for a lap. And I think that's going to be the struggle here, is actually just making it through the laps and getting to the end of the race.
Green.
All right, we're underway. Oh, almost stalling off the line. It's hard to get this car away sometimes, but even a better start than the leader somehow. Away we go down to the first corner. Then it's so wet, we're going to start aquaplaning in a straight line. Get it into second gear for turn number 1. Try to hang it around the outside a little bit. It's so slick.
Left side. Clear on the left.
Try to stay off the paint there to the right. All right. Somehow held on to second. We got the Buzzin' Hornets coming up behind though. This left-hander is really tricky. It's a late turn in, and the racing line itself has a very slick rubber on it. You see the car in front is taking that outside line. That's where we want to be to try to keep the most grip. There's also a lot of puddles and stuff on the edges of the course. We'll head down towards the hairpin here. This is such a tough spot. I had another race where I slid off multiple times in this corner. Break it nice and early right at the bridge, and use mostly the gears, I think, to slow the car down all the way down to first gear. Dave in front definitely knows what he's doing. He's going to be a tough one to catch in this race. I have to really keep my eye on the mirror for anybody fast coming up behind. We'll just drift through Durrani's corner, I think. Really early on the brakes. The car just does not want to turn. I'm going to run a bit wide there. Everybody behind me struggling as well. Full lock for just a minute. So just spinning the tires in second gear there. Car behind's got a bit of a run. So we'll work through the backside of the course. Just feels like you can't do anything to get the car to go around the corner. It's four-wheel drift, but not in the elegant way that you'd expect. Car in front, he's going to run a bit wide, I think. I'm going to do the same. There's just no grip in that corner. Just absolutely plow understeer, aquaplaning. Usually would scoop out real wide there, but I don't think there's going to be any grip off the line. And on the exit here, on the paint, not exactly where you'd want to be. So now we'll throttle towards Sunset Bend. This corner's hard even in the dry. So we've got Kevin coming up behind me in the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. I would say I'd get out of his way, but the car doesn't want to turn anyway. Just use the gears and roll the car in and just hope it sticks. Going to hit some of the cones, I think. Oh, slider on the outside on the exit. All right, complete lap number 1. Holding on to second position. Kevin's not too far behind me. And let's see if I've got anything for Dave up front. Oh, man. Absolute crazy oversteer. I almost called it horror steer. I think I invented a new term there. Yeah, well, whatever it is, it's almost uncontrollable as we'll lock up the brakes. Oh, no.
You've got to slow down and give up that time.
All right, nicking the tire barrier there. I hope the car's going to be all right. I did get, I think, a 2X for that. Feels like it might still be straight, though, so I might have got away with it. But losing a few spots, I just didn't have any grip turning into that corner. Didn't slow down early enough. And it feels like it's raining even harder now. So see if I can hold on to things, maybe get a couple of these spots back. Because the car behind's going to lunge up the inside. I don't think he's going to make the corner then. Oh. Always got to keep an eye in your mirror. I saw a red car coming, maybe a bit quicker. Use all the brain power just to get the car around the corner. It's so much more slick than it was even a lap ago now. As the rain's really coming down. We got 4 cars in front. I think Dave's in his own time zone at this point. This is such a different experience than anything I've ever had in iRacing. It's been so thoroughly entertaining this week to do these races. Every single one of them has been different. The other Monsoon race I had parts that were similar to this, but it was much more foggy, and it was like this from the very start. This one, at least that opening lap, was a little more open, it felt like. But it really feels like it's coming down, and it's absolutely going to be wet like this for the rest of the race. This race is not long enough for it to change much, but we'll see if we can get a couple of these positions back. Out onto the paint. All you can see is the spray in front. If you get close enough, you can see a rain light, but at that point, it's probably too late. So we'll fly down towards Sunset Bend. Just aquaplane in a straight line. There's that rain light as we just plow through the end of the straightaway. Hopefully won't get a slowdown for that. Hit some of those cones again. It's my signature line so far. Grips up a little bit mid-corner, able to get the exit all right. Thankfully, at least. Bunch of puddles there on the exit too, on that extra runoff that you'd usually use. Yeah, it's just beyond slick now. I can see everybody in front sliding sideways too. With that horror steer we've got. Try to keep it real close. Sometimes there's a little grip right against the inside wall. You just got to make sure you don't hit it. There we go. Nice run coming out of the corner. It's side by side with this car, but racing alone is hard. Racing side by side is extremely difficult in this. Make this corner successfully this time. Car up front slides a bit wide. Everybody's going to take the outside line here. It's probably the better option. Just plow understeer through it and can't get the exit. They'll gain on me down this entire straight to the hairpin. That's why it's so important to take that wide line. You lose it going into the corner, but the exit's where you gain all your time. Slow down nice and early for this one. Second gear, first gear. I'm barely using the brakes at this point. It's just a little bit to help settle the car, but it's really that engine braking. It's a lot like those old Grand Prix cars that I love so much, where the brakes don't really do anything. If you use them in these cars, they'll just lock up instantly, especially in conditions like this. What is this? You'd imagine they would red flag the race at this point. Oh, as Dave's off in front. I don't wish anything bad on anybody, but that's going to make things a lot more spicy up here. So Alejandro is now going to battle him. Hopefully they can both waste a bit of time and allow everybody here to catch up. The skip right in front of me is I'm going to run right onto the dirt. Come on. Take the rain line. Meant to do it. Meant to do it. Skip in front of me here is quite quick. Everybody up here is doing really well. I'm barely holding on, I feel like. Good thing there's some extra runoff as Skip gets it extra wide.
Car on your left.
I'm not going to be able to do anything with this. Try to avoid hitting anybody. Get on the curbing there. Actually helps turn the car a little bit. Hook it almost. It's wheel to wheel with Skip then.
You're on the left.
Force him onto the paint. Didn't really mean to do that, but it gives me the position at least. Apologize for it after the race. All right, fourth gear then. Just half throttle because we're hydroplaning. Right down to third. I just don't have anything to steer with. Hit some of the cones again. All right, focus on Kevin now in front. Whoa, a little bit of oversteer there. Starting lap 4. I'm not sure this will even go 8 laps. Almost 3-minute laps at this point. We're about 45 seconds a lap slower than some of the fast times I've seen around here. Maybe about 40 seconds. But that's how much slower it is in these conditions, if you can't tell. Well, I didn't really keep that nice and tidy that time. Skip's going to be coming up behind me. Just brake nice and early for this one. Ooh, Skip's looking to the inside. I just don't think you'd be able to make the inside work, though. Almost have to give it to him, say, get you on the exit. Just trying to focus forward as much as possible. It's really almost juggling the wheel. I found you got to make really big movements as the rain's just pouring down more and more. It's very much Florida conditions, isn't it? Skip gets right up behind me. Kind of sitting in the middle of the road. Found it's best to just make really big, when you're sliding and things, just make really big adjustments with the steering wheel and get those tires to almost work as a rudder in the water. Slide it right onto that extra runoff. Thankfully that's there. I think that's Durrani's corner at this point. Took the racing line that time, but just trying to mimic what some of the cars in front are doing a little bit. Learn the lines from some folks that are maybe more experienced. Oh. Last time I did this too, and it does grip. Yeah, feels like you got that heart sinking feeling. It feels like you're not going to make the corner, and then suddenly it grips. And I actually come out a little bit better because of it. Gotta be careful doing that though. All right, come through the little switchback here. This will understeer a whole bunch onto the grass. Oh. All right, not the ideal line. Very much thought I was going into the wall that time. There's a lot of panic happening right now. It's gonna be tough just to finish this, never mind try to get a position in front, but I'm so close and we're about the same speed. Everybody is just having to baby these cars so much. Took a tear off away. Sometimes there's a little more grip right to the right of the paint there, but you got to get over that painted line, which is tricky. Skip's looking up the inside, getting down into the second gear, try to slide the car a bit for some grip maybe. Doesn't seem like it's going to work. I'm stuck on the racing line where it's extra slick. It did not work out for me that time through Sunset Bend. All right, we'll come across the line. These two in front starting to fight with each other. Alejandro's gotten up into the lead, pulling away just a little bit. We got Dave in second, Kevin right in front in the Buzzin' Hornets car. Just tank slapper after tank slapper, oversteer. Keep it in first gear. It's a 4-speed car, and it does use an H pattern, but you don't need to use the clutch for shifting. You just lift off the throttle, give it that little blip on upshift and downshift. So it makes it quite a lot easier than a traditional H car. Got one car retiring. Skip looking behind me, but just making sure he's not going to go too fast into the corner. What a challenge this is. This, like I was saying, makes iRacing such a different thing. I'm so used to, for years, iRacing is this really high competitive. If you want to be competitive, it's that little percentage at the end of everything. You get within 99% of the fast guys, but getting that 1% is just impossible. And this feels like it makes it wide open. We've got some cones flying up ahead. So I'm going to do the same thing I've done the past few laps. A little scarier that time. It's just my line, I guess. Every race, though, is so different, whether it's raining at the start of it. I've even had some dry ones that go to wet or even stay a bit dry, and it just throws everybody off because we're not prepared for it. And it makes it just so much more dynamic and interesting, I feel like, than I've been in iRacing in a while. And as I have no grip there, I don't know what I was supposed to do with that. Probably going to get a slow down penalty here.
Slow down. You got a penalty for cutting the cord.
Let's see if I can give this without losing the spot to Skip, but I might have to. It's tough to even get the throttle down here anyway, so I might just naturally give it back. We're definitely in the most extreme conditions I think I've seen yet. Down to second gear here. I don't think I've ever seen it wetter than this. It started off a little bit drier, but it has gotten so wet this entire race. All right, I paid that penalty, keeping Skip behind. Come to the line here. I think there'd only be a couple laps to go at this point. We have 5 minutes left, so maybe 3 laps, 2 or 3 laps. Losing touch to Kevin in front, but at this point it's just survival. I'm not even that concerned with the finishing position. It's just getting to the end of it. Skip, I can see him sliding behind me. All these guys are doing so well. I'm really impressed with the different drivers here. They're just really talented. Oh, I'm gonna run a bit wide. His car in front off. I don't really want to join him there.
Car on your left.
Is that Alejandro?
Clear on the left.
Making a mistake there again. Skip's gonna get by me. That was Alejandro off, so I think I kind of netted out where I was. I believe. We'll have to see when we come back around. But I want to get Skip back now. All right, fourth gear for just a moment. I just got to brake as early as you possibly could think you need to stop. And then maybe just let it slow down a little more gradually. Skip in front takes a wide line there. That's not a bad line. I want to try that. You just totally blow the apex and take the wide part of the track. Keep it wide here. Try to switch and avoid the inside almost. Get the car to do it. You pay such a bigger penalty too if you miss shifts or just slightly late to something. You really have nothing to help yourself with. And I agree with you, Alejandro. This race should have been canceled. We've got 2 in front. They're battling with each other. Down to first gear here. A little less hectic this time through. I still understeer so much going into the corner. We're just plowing through the water. I need bigger rain tires, I think. This car doesn't have different tires for different conditions. It's one road tire. I think it's literally a tire off a old Ford Fiesta or something like that. So you can imagine this on the highway if anybody's ever done that before. All right, gathered back up a bit. Holding station with Skip, Dave, and Kevin up front, really close to each other. It'll be interesting to see if something happens there. I don't know if we'll get the one to go this time. It might still be 2 more. You can't tell. I agree with Alejandro. The race maybe needs to be called at this point. So tricky to keep it on the road. I'm just waiting for my time where it's all going to end. If I get it down a couple gears into sunset. Just sliding through. This car doesn't really have enough horsepower to get it to turn on throttle, and the way the diff is set up,
1 more left to go.
It doesn't really rotate on throttle too much, especially in these conditions. But we do get the white flag this time, which is good. if I can do anything with this, but it's really just about surviving at this point. Down to second gear. Really wanted to grab that inside line, but I missed it. I'm taking a slightly wide line. It's going to work. Whoa, Skip gets a nice little flick there in front. Down to second gear, down to first. Took the inside line this time just to be safe with it. It's maybe not going to be the fastest. I've already messed my race up in that corner a couple times. All right. Accelerate now to the hairpin. Oh, I'd love to get on the podium in this. Up to fourth gear. Just a minute. It's crazy how much slower we're going than you would go at a normal race pace. You really thrash these cars around here in the drive, but this is like tiptoeing. It really makes me think about a track that's a lot longer than this and to learn it, because I've already learned a little bit in the several races that I've done here where some of the really wet patches are and where you could avoid it. So imagine trying to learn a track like the Nordschleife or the Nürburgring in the wet and being good at it. It just brings a whole other element to it. All right, we'll come to the tricky corner here. See everybody in front. It's actually taking that inside line. It's probably where you won't get that understeer. It's not as good on the exit though. I think the three in front are slightly out of reach, so it's really just about bringing it on home and seeing what happens up there. The 2 leaders are fighting for it. Come through the second to last corner here. Oh, I'm just understeering onto the paint. Got nobody behind me, so it's just focusing forward. What a crazy race. There's rumors, I probably said it in the introduction, but there's rumors that iRacing is going to be patching things so that you don't get these crazy wet conditions. And while I can see why they're doing that, it's kind of fun. I kind of hope maybe one in 100 races in the wet might be like this, because I think it is really, really crazy and interesting. But I'm happy I got one, at least a halfway entertaining one on camera. I'll come out of the final corner and try not to ruin everything as we get on the front stretch. Come to the line, 4th place after all that, and keeping it out of the wall mostly, I guess I could be happy with. But man, the rain in iRacing,
there's the flag. It's over.
It's added a whole new element. I think a lot of other folks have said that, and I'm happy I finally got the chance to play around with it, and I can see myself doing a lot more of this in the future, because it is really different now. It is very engaging to do these races, and I'm excited to do a lot more of them. So if you like this, or if there's any other series or something that you think I would have fun doing, let me know, because I think I'll be doing a bit more iRacing. Man, but until then, thanks for watching this. I'm happy I survived. This is GP Laps, and I'll see you all again next time.